All right, so we're going to start off here with a presentation that I put together. I think this is one of the most important presentations that I've done in a long time. It's going to update you guys on a bunch of data and information that we have put together, discovered, talked about, and all of that stuff. So I'm going to just get right into it. I'm going to share my screen here. Can you guys just confirm once you are able to see this presentation? Okay, great. Thank you. All right, I'm going to go full screen. Okay, selling art in America 2.0. What it means, why it is exciting, and what you need to do about it today. So what it means. The world is forever changed. A new normal is here. Billionaire Mark Cuban is actually the one who first came out and called it America 2.0. We have left America 1.0, and this new normal, this new world that we are all going to be living in is easily just defined as America 2.0. It's a good way to think about it in your mind. And what's happening already and what's going to happen further is that working from home is skyrocketing, and it will be 5 to 10x what it was pre-pandemic. Business leaders have acknowledged that employees are just as productive at home, and in some cases, even more. This has happened with very, very big companies and small ones alike. Even when the social distancing rules soften, a dramatic increase in working from home will be a defining characteristic of America 2.0. All right, so community gatherings like concerts, sports events, and yes, art shows, we already know this, will either no longer happen or for about 1 year, right? It'll probably soften up after that. But attendance and in-person purchases are going to dramatically decline. And, at least for the foreseeable future, hopefully after a year, they will really come back. So ongoing social distancing only means that we will be spending more time at home. We already are, and we already are going to even further. What's happening is this is fueling a desire for people and families to improve their homes and their home workspaces. We're spending more time at home than ever, and that's what's happening. And as such, spending on home office and decor has dramatically increased during this pandemic. That's probably the information that you guys did not know or may not have known. So I'm going to talk about this further. Let's get into the data. Wayfair, very large company, publicly traded on the stock market. They just reported that sales doubled in March as a result of office furniture and home decor sales. People are buying stuff for their homes, right? It's going to start making sense. When they reported this, their stock rose by 37%. And you can see the headlines right here of office furniture and home decor, right? This was April 6th, 2020. Sotheby's is the premier destination for auctions and private sale of contemporary, modern, and impressionist old master paintings, jewelry, watches, wine, etc. Sotheby's reported a stunning 46% increase in online art bids in March when compared to 1 year ago. And you can see the text right here from March 27 to 31, stunning 46% increase in the number of bids from 1 year ago. How could that happen? How could that happen? They just set a record for the largest online sale ever of 4 million, right in the middle of what most would call the most pessimistic point of the pandemic, right in March. In addition to all of this, Google Trends is it's a tool that will show you how popular a search term is over time. And what this tracks is what they call high intent searches, people that are not just like unqualified, but actually qualified searchers. And it's trends.google.com if you want to check it out for yourself. But look what has happened to the phrase buy art online. You can see it right here, buy art online. In March, it registered, it hockey sticked. Look at this right here, okay? It registered what's called the 100 score. And what the 100 means here is that over this time period of 1 year, it hit its maximum popularity in the month of March. It's right now. I mean, I literally just took this yesterday and it's at the peak right now. You can see these dates below. So again, why is this all happening, right? Let's take a look at Art Storefronts. We saw all of this and we had to dive into our own data to look at what happened. And sure enough, at Art Storefronts, art sales from our artist websites, artists and photographers, increased 49% in March 2020 when compared to the same period a year ago, March 2019. So naturally, we wanted to look at, okay, what happened, a few months back? What happened in February, just 1 month ago? What happened 2 months ago? What was the growth in those months when there wasn't really a pandemic scare? Let's even go back to October 2019 and look at what the growth was. Because obviously Art Storefronts is growing. We've been growing for a while. So you got to look at these different time periods to make sure that it's a sanity check, right? It's just to make sure your data is accurate. And sure enough, back in October 2019, our year-over-year growth was 42%. This is at a time, when there was no pandemic. It was the fourth quarter. Everybody was really excited about how the fourth quarter sales were going to happen, and all of that stuff. And we grew 42% year over year. January 2020, 54%. Last month, 47%. And March at 49%. All you can say is that so far, the trend has continued. There's no way March 2020 should have beat October 2019 under these circumstances, right? Well, that's what we thought. And then in addition to this, according to Google Analytics, our Google Analytics in March 2020, page views for the artist websites was up 28%, unique visitors up 27%, and the total time on site was up 6%, all right? In addition to this, customers, as you guys have all seen in our private members group, are reporting their marketing successes every day. There is clearly something going on. There is clearly a way to be marketing right now. And if you are doing it, you can be winning. So what is really happening here? What's happening? We all know the offline business has shut down, okay? But the online business is thriving. So what happened? 100% of the market is now online. That's the interesting thing. Every single buyer, every billionaire, every millionaire, every executive, everyone from every state that you might have never had the opportunity to get business from them is now online. Every single opportunity is online. And for the last 3+ weeks and for the foreseeable future, every single person in America is spending most of their time at home. This includes all of these people, right? The people who spend the most money on art. In addition, people are buying new desks, monitors, plants, and art to make their living and work environment more beautiful, inspiring, peaceful, balanced, and productive. One of our team members at Art Storefronts said, it's like everybody just moved into a new office, right? And I thought that was really profound because I felt that way too. My home office right now is not completely set up the way that I want it, given that I've got to spend all this time here. The same goes for a lot of other areas of my house. And I'm willing to bet that many of you and many other people have thought of this. You might have done it subconsciously. You might have looked at the way, maybe I need a stand-up desk now, or maybe I need, a new plant in the corner. Everybody's eyes are spending more time scrutinizing their environments a little bit, because this is where you're going to have to be productive. This is where you're going to have to find positivity and get things done. So when you didn't spend as much time in the house, you may not have noticed or cared about these things. I know that I certainly didn't. You spent your money on other things that you cared about, maybe like restaurants or cars or vacations or other entertainment, whatever it was, whatever was getting our attention. But that was America 1.0, guys. And now we are in America 2.0. And this is not the same as the 2008 financial crisis. One of the biggest mistakes that you can make is instantly getting in your head that this recession or this situation is going to be exactly the same as that one. It is not, and it already is not behaving that way. The 2008 financial crisis hit every single industry hard. But in the current crisis, you actually have thriving sectors of the economy, such as grocery, delivery, pizza, home accessories, decor, televisions, work from home software, and home decor in general. These companies are exploding in growth, and their stock prices are too. The way people are spending money is shifting. The products that fit into America 2.0, therefore, are in a great spot. The ones that don't are the ones that are in trouble. And in addition to this, the government is essentially committed to unlimited support of the economy. I think this is profound. And so have both political parties. There has already been unprecedented stimulus and more is coming. Since the government mandated this shutdown, they will not let it fail. Unlike 2008, the vast majority of America is already supporting this, okay? So if you remember in 2008, both political parties didn't necessarily agree on the stimulus package after the fact and bailouts and all of those things. There was a lot of debate on it. But right now, because the government shut everything down, everybody is in agreement that stimulus needs to happen. It's already happened. And even today, you know, they came out again and are planning on adding more stimulus. And they're talking about even more stimulus after this. And so with that type of backbone backstop behind the economy, no matter how much worse it gets, as people keep talking about, well, unemployment could hit this in the next month or the next 2 months. If the government is going to continue to back this up with stimulus, almost unconditionally, then there's always going to be a backstop behind it. So you have to get through this period, but when we get out the other side, it could be interesting to see how the recovery goes. And right now, current equity markets, these are the stock markets, have priced in a Q2 and Q3 slowdown. That's the second quarter and third quarter of the year. They've already priced this in. That's why the markets are that's why they dropped to where they're at right now. But they've already priced in the economic recovery starting in Q4. If they believe that that's not going to happen, then it might likely go down again. But right now, that's where we stand. So artists and photographers, we must adapt to America 2.0 right now, okay? You need to deeply connect with your audience more than ever so that your art fills the current need, all right? And the current need across all of America and the world, for that fact, is to make your living and work environment at home more beautiful, inspiring, peaceful, productive, or whatever it is that you are looking for every day that you live, right? This will require highly strategic marketing. All of this will need to be done online for the foreseeable future, right? Because the offline market is turned off, which means aside from executing a robust and ongoing online marketing strategy, you must have a proper art gallery website to drive people to that will close the deals and provide an amazing customer experience. This is how you will thrive in America 2.0. Art Storefronts members, you are already ready for 2.0, which is great. All you need to do is just keep upping your game by following the art marketing calendar and by utilizing the consulting that you get. Thank you, guys. That's all. All right, Pat, I'm going to pass this back to you and let's get your opinion on this.
Sadly, I'm a bit of a mess. We lost our Facebook stream and I've just been like scrambling around to fix everything up. So
no worries. Let's just leave that alone.
Yeah, let's just go right into Q&A.
No, let's can I get let's get your thoughts on that first.
Yeah, I mean,
while we're doing that, why doesn't everybody raise your hands? If you guys, you can start raising your hands to get in the queue. We'll start answering your questions.
Yeah, I got to make sure I've got that all good to go. I would say, you know, all of the smart people are saying the same thing, right? Like the reality that we're going back to after this is over is not going to be what it was before. And I cite this one marketer that I follow and that I really like, and he said there's going to be 3 waves, and I'm sort of in agreement with that. And there's the wave that we're in now, which is COVID everything. Then as soon as we get out of this and start going back to some sort of normalcy, there's going to be this like great transition to online everything. And people are still going to be extremely skittish, and social distancing is still going to be a thing. And this thing's not going to be gone completely. It's going to be popping up here. It's going to be popping up there. And then after that's done, we're going to get into this new normal, which until they come up with a cure, which completely and forever knocks this thing out, I think things are going to change. And, you know, Mark Cuban calls it America 2.0. You know, every smart financial guy is talking about it, and no one has a crystal ball. No one knows completely. But anything with large gatherings, large crowds are going to get hammered. They're going to take a massive hit. And, you know, I was having to jump in and out of your presentation next, so I didn't get to hear it all. But what an incredible opportunity right now, if you're properly set up to be online and instead of off, because even when this thing's over, you know, sadly, all the things that we've advocated for so long, right? Like, you know, go and do as many shows and fairs as you can offline and try to sell that way as best you can, because there's no quicker way to get feedback. Well, no matter how those things come back, if people are generally scared about gathering in groups, those businesses are going to be so significantly down. It's going to be crazy. Couple that with the fact that just about every gallery out there that was hanging on by a thread is going to be out of business as soon as this is over. So there's going to be some galleries that are still going to be going and still doing great, the really strong ones, but the rest of them are smoked. I mean, they're just not going to come back. They're not going to be able to afford their rent.
But let's be,
Right.
let me ask you this. So just being completely real,
Yeah.
what did you think about all that data when we first came across it?
Yeah, I mean, it's striking in a number of different ways. It seems like there are going to be winners and there are going to be losers in this thing, independent of how creative you are. And if you would have asked me beforehand, I would not said art and photography, and art and photography selling online would have been one of them. And as it turns out, it is. And I don't think, we need to be in any position where you sugarcoat it. Sales are still going to be down in terms of average order value. Okay, that's happening. People are tightening their belts. Everyone's in a financial crunch. They're not going to be spending as much money. But let me tell you, the fact that you're selling art and photography online, and the fact that it is actually rising, it's emerging to be one of the winners out of this thing for all of the above reasons that Nick said. I mean, everyone is all of a sudden spending all this time at home, and everyone is all of a sudden not spending money on events or travel or going anywhere, and they're sick and tired of their spaces. And so I think that's playing a huge role in it. And it's like, whether it's our data or the data from Sotheby's or the Google Trends, like, I mean, praise God for this one, but art and photography is going to end up emerging as one of the winners, at least in the very near short term. We'll see what happens, 18 months, 2 years out. But for right now, it's a winner. And I think that's, it's extremely optimistic, extremely optimistic.
Yeah. So what we're going to get into, is the fact that your marketing has got to be dialed in around this, you guys. Like, this is a very big thing. And on that note, we have been putting together for the last 2 days a new playbook for this, and we've got it in the show notes. And it's going to give you ideas about like the language. But here's the main point that I want to give to everybody right now before we start opening it up to questions and talking about it. Is that, like, I like, when I saw this data, it first kind of shocked me, right? But then I understood it. And part of the reason why I understood it was because I've been having these same feelings myself. I never work from home, right? Like, I'm always going to the office. I'm going around to other offices and things like that at my companies. And now that I've been at home for a good 3.5, almost 4 weeks, like, in multiple rooms in my house, and especially my office, there are things that are bothering me, right? Like, I'm like, I need a stand-up desk. Like, I'm sitting here sitting all day long. I need some art on the walls. I got to move some things around. I don't necessarily like what's going on here. And it was sort of a subconscious thing where it, like, pops in your head and you're like, I got to do something about this. And then you kind of get back to work. Well, it's been building on me. And I realized that I'm like, oh my goodness, every single person is going through this right now. 100% of people in the entire workforce at home. And that's going to last, right? Like, it's not going to last forever. People are going to go back to work, but there's really big companies, huge companies that are like, you know what? We don't need to be paying for these large office spaces anymore. People are actually pretty productive at work at home. And I'm like, oh my goodness, this home office environment is actually going to be a big deal. And people are just going to be spending more time in their homes. They're going to care more about it, which is good for art, right? Like, it's good. It's great for art. It doesn't mean that, like, all of a sudden we're going to have like a 10x boom in art. I'm not saying that at all. But what I am saying is the art industry has some cover fire here in this pandemic and beyond. And it's pretty amazing. And the other part is that, I said in the presentation that, we're seeing successes, and we've been seeing them. We've been seeing them every day, in the small wins, and in the and just in sales in general. We've got a blog post that we've been updating every day with all the notable sales and stories. We started doing that on Friday. If you've seen those emails, I think they were sent out on Friday and Saturday. Let's put that in the show notes too, Taylor, a link to that blog post. So you can keep following that and refresh it every day or two if you just want to see more of the updates that are happening. But as this data and information keeps coming out, we'll keep updating that as well. So it's not just the news about, things that are relevant to you guys, but it's also, the sales that are happening on the platform and the success stories and things like that. And one of the bigger themes right now is that you got to be running, if you have an audience already and you've got an email list and stuff like that, obviously you guys got to be filling up your funnel. And we've been talking about that. And we all know what we need to do there. You know, like we've been talking about reaching out to the Facebook groups and the Instagram influential accounts. That playbook will be in the show notes as well. It's what we've been talking about for a couple of weeks now. That's a fill the funnel tactic. That's the big one that we're advocating everybody do, because nobody has enough traffic and nobody has enough leads. But if you have a big email list and a big following and you're somebody who's been selling decently well, even if you haven't, you should still do this anyway. But the people obviously that have a bigger list will have more success. You need to be running a sale right now. And you need to incorporate this language into it. And what I mean by that, guys, is that the regular romancing that we talk about, you know, normally you're talking about the inspiration of the piece, right? You're talking about like why you created it or the inspiration behind it. And that's the usual way to kind of romance market in general. That's what you should be doing if you haven't been doing it. But right now, I want to get across a very important change, because you need to do that, but you need to do one more important thing, right? It needs to be these two things, both of them. You need to speak to the person like me, right? Like your consumer, and you need to connect the dots as to why I should hang that piece in my house. Okay? I really want to get that point across, right? Because it's not just about you anymore. It's about the consumer. It should have always been about the consumer too, right? But what that means is, like, if you are going to talk about your piece, you should mention, like, you know, hey, like you should talk about how this is going to, you know, brighten your day, add light, add balance, add positivity, add productivity. When this is on your wall in your office every day, that's what I want it to do for you. You know, like that's how you should speak to your audience. Like, this piece fits into this new America 2.0 world for you, you know, and that's the way that it's got to be done. So if somebody is sending something like that to me, it's going to hit me right between the eyes and right in my heart, because I'm like, oh my gosh, I've got to figure out. And this is the truth, guys. I am figuring out how to make myself as positive and productive and creative for this new world that I am operating in as a business owner, as a leader, as a mentor to all of you guys. And you know what? My environment is not ready for that. I got to make some changes. And I think that there's a lot of people subconsciously thinking that. I'm thinking it ahead of the game, but I think that for the next 9 months and even through the fourth quarter, as this work from home thing, you know, continues, other people are going to be thinking about this and learning about this. Or I mean, sorry, this is going to be like a bigger problem or a bigger need that emerges in executives and other people that are working from home more often, which means for the rest of the year, sales are going to be coming through for this reason. And I really believe that the reason that that data that we're looking at, that I showed, is so positive is because of this. I think that's where the sales are likely coming from, or a big part of them.
Yep. And, you know, I would say well before this whole thing happened, you know, I've worked for Art Storefronts the entire time remote. I'm a remote guy. I've been a remote guy for a long time. A thing in the remote community is, first you start doing your Zooms all the time. Okay. And then you start doing more Zooms, and then you start looking behind you and you're like, wait a minute, this background is totally bucket. And it's actually been a thing in you have a lot of video chat things where people, you know, start accessorizing their backgrounds so they look cool on Zoom. I obviously have not done that. I've got crap everywhere, but it's like a thing, you know. It's kind of like when you decorate your cubicle and you have your things going on. So our job at Art Storefronts, we've seen this data now, I believe quite conclusively, that we're moving into this new era. I do believe art and photography is going to be continuing to sell in an incredible way, but now we got to get creative. So our job is to help you guys get creative with your sales, and you cannot be tone deaf with the normal sales language. Otherwise, it just goes right over the head. But if you're smart about it, you might even send out a sale this week and says, is your Zoom background looking kind of bucket? It is, isn't it? You probably need some amazing art pieces on the back of the wall.
Everyone is talking about that and thinking about that.
Zoom background sale. Dial it up. I've got some fantastic art. I'm going to even show you all of it here. We're discounting it. Of course, I'm not going to charge full prices as a COVID thing, but if you want your Zoom background to look amazing, I'm here for you. Now, that is a type of marketing message that goes out during this time that is not tone deaf, that is so on point, that is so relevant to the time, that you're going to stand a fantastic opportunity to look great. And by the way, I got to pick that stool up.
There is a total vanity component to that like is emerging, where, like I said, you've got you got high level executives, you got very successful people that are doing Zooms from their own home. And the piece behind them is like the new flashy car, right? Do you get what I'm saying?
Yep.
It's like, it's the new watch. It's the fancy, it's the things that you can't show. And, anything that has to do with vanity is like one of the most, they're like the highest sales industries. It's like people just they can't get over the fact of like, their own self-image is the most important thing. And this is the real deal, right?
Yep.
Okay.
So we know what we need to do. I mean, we're going to continue compounding and coming at this argument a bunch of different ways, but it is insanely profound. It's emerging as we speak. I mean, now that you're somewhat switched on to it and attuned to it, you're gonna start reading, wherever you're reading and whatever you're reading and whatever expert gets quoted, and they're all starting to say the same thing. Everyone's trying to figure out what is this new reality. Call it America 2.0, and I think Cuban was genius with that. What is this America 2.0 look like, and how are we going to best capitalize on it? And let's thank God we're all Americans selling in America for the most part. Even if you're not American, you're in America, because there is no better place to be coming out of this thing. Not even close. There's nowhere else I would rather be. All of the money and the capital is going to flock back into this economy, is because we're going to get out of it sooner than anyone else is, I think. So fantastic opportunity. I mean, the winners and the losers part, we had no say in that. That was just going to shake out how it shook out, right? Like cruises, terrible. Live events, terrible. And, grocery store stocks, Zoom stock, Slack stock, all the obvious ones. It's just the way that it worked out. The fact that we're in that bucket is amazing. And it's something we all got to be thankful for. And so now it's just time to get creative. That's it. Time to get creative. But on that note, Nick, you want to get into the questions?
Let's do it.
Okay. Looks like, Tommy, you're first. And again, I've been really having to drop the hammer on these things to keep this fair for everybody. So I'm going to continue doing that. So if you're talking and all of a sudden they're like, it's not responding, it's me. Blame me. I'm the one tasked with keeping this thing moving along. So, okay.
And the 5-minute limit, right? 5-minute limit, regardless.
Yeah, we sometimes we got to mute ourselves because we're violating it. But I'll mute myself. I'll mute myself if I have to. Okay, tell me you're unmuted. Go ahead.
All right. Since can you hear me?
Yeah, we got
yes. You. Hey, Timmy.
Okay. Hi. Since you brought that up, please go onto my website. You guys can both get 25% off on any of my prints. They do come framed.
The first pitch. Yes.
I just want you to know, all my artworks are delivered to you framed with 2-inch mattings or 3-inch matting. It's your choice, ready to hang. So I just want to put it out there. So, all right. So back to my question. Mm-hmm. Last week, when we had the conference thingy that we're doing right now, I had mentioned about the influencers. Mm-hmm. And fortunately, I've been able to reach about 5 of them.
Oh,
yes.
Under the luxury niche. That's basically my niche, and it goes a little bit deeper. Mm-hmm. Now, I noticed something that had happened. I wanted to share with everybody so that nobody else falls into this trap. One of the influencers actually is not an influencer, but comes across as an influencer. Mm-hmm. And when they had responded, they had said I should I should post my stuff on with them, and I would get 300 or 500 followers, XYZ. That don't fall into that trap. That's actually bullpucking. Yep. So I said, thank you very much. Moved on to the next influencer. The next one actually said I should send them one of the things I'm doing is I'm offering them a print as a thank you. Mm-hmm. While I'll give, their followers or the winner from their following a print. And they said I should send them one of my prints, and if they like it, they'll decide. I'm not going along with that because that's just taking advantage of me. But there's one right now that's working pretty well. But this is what she said. I just actually not spoke to her, but we communicated. And she wants me to produce a specific piece. And let me just read exactly what she said because it's confusing a little bit. She said, where is it? Okay, she said, I was looking for something that's abstract with bone, beige, gray, and some other color I've never heard of before. Maybe you can make something with these tones and I can promote it as something special that is made for her design giveaways. So that's the part that caught me. Am I supposed to, should I go ahead with this and produce something that she's doing as for her line, for her giveaways? Or isn't it supposed to be my giveaways?
Yeah, I mean,
or am I reading too
you
much
want it
into
to, you want it to dovetail with, you know, their niche audience, and you want to be supportive to them. But
Okay.
I would first like contact a lot, right? I would contact a lot of them. And then I would, you know, have the basis of comparison, and the basis of comparison is so huge. And I gave this analogy before, but I'll give it again. Just recently had a mattress in the garage, and I've done this on Craigslist about 1,000 times. I love Craigslist. I've been using Craigslist like since its inception. I had a mattress in the garage. We thought we were going to use it. It sat in there for like 6 months. It got dusty, whatever. We wanted it gone, right? And you can't just put a mattress out on the curb. So I told my wife, post free mattress, must come get it, but do not respond to a single solitary email until we sit down together and look at them. So 25 emails come in, right? And if you just got one email, you'll be like, okay, this is going to be interesting. I'm going to go down this path and I'm going to see where this comes out. Or if you just got two. It's when you have 10 and you're looking at 10 at the same time where you're like, oh yeah, because one of them was like, how long has it been in your garage was the question. And the next one was, I think I can get there on Sunday, but I'll let you know. Another one said, did it have any stains on it? The fourth person said, yeah, I just, you know, I want to be able to get there. The fifth one was like, I have a truck. I will be at your house in 1 hour the minute you call me. Guess which one I responded to? The one that had the truck. And guess what? The thing was gone. I didn't even have to do anything. I opened the garage. They took it out. They loaded it up. They said, thanks so much, out. And so I had that basis of comparison, right? So when you're doing these, the key is to really contact a large number of them so you can start having the basis for comparison. And there's going to be every weird situation imaginable. A lot of them are not going to be American, right? And the word influencer keeps coming up. They're not technically influencers. They're really just content creators, right? Like an influencer is more like, you know, a media visible person where they're the personality and they're selling. In this case, these people are just curating images and are really good at it. So I would say, cool. I love that. Let me think on that. Let me get back to you, and then go contact 50 more of them until you get enough responses where you're in a good spot. So that's what I would do.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Demi. Okay, Steve, you're up next.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Hey, Steve.
Hey, so I don't know if you guys remember, we talked last week about the 1900.
We remember.
Yeah, I sent a couple emails on it.
Let's update everybody on what happened.
Okay, so I went back to them, and I probably wasn't as good a negotiator as I needed to be. I offered them half price, and they came back with a little over half price.
Oh, you didn't go to the 200?
No.
Oh,
no.
come on. Next time, follow it. Exactly. I promise you.
But, you know, as I put in the note to you guys, like, I pay this much money to get into shows all the time. So to me, I mean, if we took the money off the table, and I get 1,900 emails that are cold, but just to kind of give everybody a context for this thing, you know, as I put in my note, my art is very visual, like everybody's is, but my sales go to people that walk in and go, oh, I like that one. And it happens to be, as much as I try to pivot to other things, to landscapes, to wine, to still lifes, it always comes back to the kind of pinup paintings that I have on my bestseller list. So that's why I was going to a lingerie show in the first place, just to play this out and see if this really, maybe that is my niche, and I'm just not going to fight it anymore. So these 1,900 emails are all cold, but I would get the name, the phone number, the email, the company name, and then the question is, what's the right thing to do with this list of people? A lot of my business last year came from commissions. People saw something and said, I like that one. Can you make it? This is a real example. I had a somewhat pinup girl on the tent, and they said, hey, can you make that piratey? And we'll put it on our wine label. So now I have 4 wine labels out there with my art on it, because they saw it. So
right
now, what do I do with these 1,900 emails? I haven't bought it yet because you guys told me 250, and
I would not pay a dime over $200.
Okay.
It's just not. And if not, I wouldn't do it. Straight up. I don't believe in it at all. I've bought lists before. If they didn't opt in to you, then it just doesn't work. I've even noticed with Art Storefronts, even our own business, that, like, you know, when people subscribe, like if we ask for an email address like too early, or on like a bad page that's not like relevant to what we do, then it's just a terrible email. And it doesn't matter whether it's an artist or a photographer that might be qualified for Art Storefronts. It just ruins the whole thing. It's just not in context. And I think if you're not getting people to opt into what you want to do, there is such a low ROI. I mean, somebody else might have a different opinion. I've never had luck with these. I don't know. I would love to talk to somebody who's had a lot of luck on them.
I would say this though, like there's also a great learning to have in all of it. And these are crazy times. So while I agree with Nick, I would still go lower on the price, and I would make a firm offer and say, like, look, the most I can do in this is $250. I know that's not a lot, but I'm a solo artist and such and such. But
and the economy and all that, right?
Yeah. But let's table that. You probably have in your mind if you want to do it or don't want to do it. And our job is, regardless if you do it, to tell you what to do, what I would do after the fact. If I ran Facebook ads, I would take all of the email addresses, I would put them into Facebook. I would tell Facebook to go and make me an audience of them. And then now I have an audience. So now before I've reached them or before I touched them, I'm gonna warm them up a little bit. And I'm probably gonna spend $50 to $75 on that list, which is now a Facebook audience. And I'm gonna show them over the course of like a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks, a couple of my best pieces. Just rotate 3 different ads out, spend $10, $15 a day, and run those through. That would be step 1. Step 2, paid a lot of money for those babies. I would not use my email service provider. I would use my personal account. I would send an email. I would tell them how you got their email. I would say times are tough. I would use the COVID sensitive language and just say, if you want to check out my art, here you go. Be more than happy to discuss or offer you a discount in any capacity. And I would send 10 a day, 15 a day, 20 a day. I might mix up the messages a little bit and try to get creative a little bit in that capacity. I would probably include 3 or 4 of my images in the email itself. And that's how I would do it. The 1-2 combo of warming them up with the Facebook ads, which is really, really easy to do. We have mega in-depth tutorials on this. In fact, Taylor, put the notes. I've got an entire, even if you've never run a Facebook ad before, you could be up and running and doing this so quickly. We've got a tutorial on how to run Facebook ads, especially in this capacity to warm to an email list. And that's how I would go about doing it. And I would just, take them a few at a time, take them 10, 15 at a time. And you're just looking to open up a conversation with a buyer that likes lingerie stuff. That's what I would do.
So you're saying 10 to 15 just off the top of the list. If I got 1,900 emails, just take the first 20 and send them an email, or?
Yep. See if you get any feedback, see how you did, then do it again, and then do it again. You could even do 100 at a time. I'm not sure how many. Do you use Gmail or Hotmail or what do you have, Macmail?
I have Gmail right now.
You have Gmail, I think.
Well, actually, I have my own domain, so it would come across as steve@sellenberg.com.
Got it. So yeah, that's what I would do. That's fine. And try that out, right? And I would probably do that for the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 500 even, maybe. And then if you get just absolutely crickets, I would just blast the rest of MailChimp and call it a day. Although I don't even know if MailChimp would let you get away with doing that, the whole list.
I don't think they will. But I think the key there
that's what I would do.
I think the key takeaway from his advice right there is telling them how you got the email and that they were at the show and that you normally go to the show or whatever it is, right? Mm-hmm. Because the way that I've always done it in the past when I've bought lists is we just put them right into our regular marketing list, and they just went right into the regular marketing blasts that, I've done it at other companies, right? And so the difference, and that's never worked. And so the difference that Pat's talking about here is a different strategy that I've never tried before, which is, just treating them differently. Don't throw them in with everybody else, treat them differently, and send them a direct email and see if you can incorporate what we were talking about earlier with the kind of marketing you need to do at these current times to get them to bite for something they might want for home, Well,
that's what I was thinking too, is this is not just store, because it's a trade show, right? So these were stores that were coming to look at vendors, but it's still the market it might be for their home sales, like you're saying.
You can definitely get a lower price, and you can definitely give it a shot. And I think it's
I would go back and say, you know what, given what's going on here, circumstances have changed in my world. I've got $200 to spend on this. I know it's not a lot, but I'll give it, but I can do it today. If you guys want to do this deal, I can do it today, but I can't pay a penny more. Just send that email and just wait. So
like I put in my email, we keep coming back to the dollars. Like I paid this much to get in the shows and I get 30 names. And I've never lost money on a show, but I've never really made a ton on them either. So it's not about the money per the list. I get it. I mean, $600 is a lot of money for if I get nothing out of it. But if I get 20 really hot leads for 20 stores, that could actually be something really good.
I think so too. I think you should go for it. I mean, I think you're in it. You've got it going on in your mind. I would try one more time to get the price down. I would be patient enough when they say no, like just pick another number. You don't, even if you don't feel comfortable going down to 200, you're at 600 now, say 350 and just be quiet after the fact. After they tell you no, just make sure you be quiet, because they're going to be like, there was revenue on the table. What am I doing? We're in a COVID crisis and I'm not taking revenue. They'll wake up the next morning and be like, this is so stupid. Just go take the money. Right. So that's what I think, but you play it out.
Just remember that in cold marketing like that, like, direct response, like it's typically a 1% response rate, not sales. Response rate is normal. 1%. So take that number and multiply it times the size of the list. And that's what you should expect to get response, like the number of responses. So
yeah, I'm more bullish on it. I'm more bullish on it than Nick is, but I would say go for it, and then come back after when you finally decide, and then we can give you another coaching session on exactly what to do. But yeah, there's opportunity there, and I just like it because it's a little bit unconventional given the times. But good question, of course, and good luck. Korea, you're up next.
Kira, by the way.
Kira,
funny spelled name.
Kira.
So I'm fresh to Art Storefronts. I've only had it for about a week, I think. And
welcome aboard.
Welcome.
Thanks. I was thinking about doing the new website launch, and I just wanted to know what you guys thought about how many posts you should have in Instagram and Facebook before you do that, because right now I've got like 5, and that seems a little small for someone to be like, oh, look at this person's great art. They only have 5 posts. I could have a lot more, but I'd have to post more.
Yeah. I think more important than like how much to post and everything else, I think, augment the language that we have in that playbook a little bit to address the situation, right? What could be worse than launching your brand new website during COVID-19? Probably not that much, but I have to do it anyway. Here's the sale, right? Like, something somewhat cheeky like that. That was a bad example, but something that takes advantage of it in that capacity. And then I would never think it. I would just go for it and get in there and get rolling. You got a ton of work to do, and best time to start is immediately. But that would be my advice.
Totally agree. Don't worry about the lack of posts. Just go.
Yep.
Sweet. Then we'll do that, because I already have like 50 pieces in Artist Storefront. So I've got the stuff. I just don't have a lot on social media, but that's awesome. I'll just go try and get them peoples then.
Yep.
Yeah, and Kira, that brings up an opportunity to talk about something new. I have a new announcement. Emily and the support team is running. This is a new workshop. It's going to be tomorrow at the same time, and I think they're going to be approximately. I'm not sure if this is going to happen right away, but at least for now, it's going to be every Wednesday, and it's a marketing launch workshop. So it's for anybody that's kind of in your spot that recently launched or is looking to launch and is about to start their marketing. And it's going to go over like, website audits. That's where you want to go if you want a website audit. By the way, if anybody's in line right now with their hand raised and needs a website audit, please just go to the workshop tomorrow. So that's where we're going to do that. And then, and to go over the new website giveaway and some things like that. So I would recommend doing that too.
And even if you can't be there, they can get the website to who would be the one to get it to, and then they can watch it after the fact, right?
Yeah. It'll be posted after the fact.
Okay.
And you only need to go to that really like once. It's meant for new members to kind of like bridge the gap between being on here and like fully launching on your marketing and just making sure you got all the T's crossed and I's dotted.
Got it.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. Okay.
Congrats. Welcome aboard. Get rolling. Okay. David, you are up. Let me make sure I've got it right. Okay, David, you're unmuted. How you doing?
I'm doing awesome, guys.
Hey, David.
I feel like I'm on a staycation.
God, I love that mentality. Got it.
All right. So on the last Zoom, you said go to Instagram, locate influencers, and ask them to offer an art giveaway.
Mm-hmm.
So my first question is, where do we find these people? I have 2 quick questions.
Mm-hmm. So what would you say your niche is?
I'm going to say interior decorators, interior designers, and home stagers.
But really quick, David, did you see the playbook for this? There's a playbook for it, and there's a video at the top which shows Pat going through what I'm assuming he's about to do right now.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that everybody knows these resources are there. So let's make sure it's in the show notes. For this specific strategy, it's Taylor, can you type in the chat down there? What is the title of this article? And actually just put a link to it in here real quick, because it's it shows exactly how to do it. But Pat, do you want to show it real quick, or do you want to just, I mean, for the sake of time, let's just get that to David.
Yeah, I mean,
I think a lot of people would probably like to see that. I don't know if I want to speak for everyone, but
yeah.
if we can get
all right. Touche. All right, so this is a soft phone, so it's essentially just on Instagram, right? And you have your home tab and you have your search tab. And so you come on here and you search, and let's just say, if it was interior designers, if that's really the route you would want to go, I'm just going to type in, if I can type interior designers, and you can see it says top accounts tags, right? I'm going to go to tags because that's what I want. And I come in here and I go to interior designers. Okay. And this one has 1.2 million posts. That's a lot. And you can see that it segments it between top and between recent. And then it gives you these related tags, which are also really cool to check. And so what you're doing when we say, everyone says influencers because that's what everyone understands, but that's not what we're looking for. We're actually not looking for influencers per se. We're looking for someone that curates a ton of this stuff, right? And so I just clicked into an account, and this one's got 25,000 followers. Okay. And so I'm looking up, and I would look at the stuff that they're curating, right? So they're not influencers. They're just curating a bunch of really cool interiors, and they have a bunch of followers as a result. And I would look at this one and I'd say, it's okay. It's not fantastic. That's probably not the colors that I like. And I would come down here until I find another one. And I look at this one, and let's just see this one. 3,000 followers, probably not big enough. Let's see this one. Dana Powell Interiors, 19,000 followers. Okay, she's got some juice. Stuff inside is pretty interesting. You can see if your pieces you think would fit well into this one. And let's just say, 25,000, this is a pretty good shot. So I'm going to just go boom, send her a message. And I'm going to say, Darla, huge fan of your profile. I'm an artist. You can check my work out here. I'm kind of just marketing unconventionally in these COVID times. And so I was wondering if you wanted to maybe do a giveaway to your list. Those are exactly the type of people that I'm trying to get my art in front of. I wouldn't ask you for anything except just a link back to my website, a link to my Instagram profile. And then in your Instagram profile, you would have the link to a sale that you're running. And that's what I would do. It's that simple. And, again, you have to go into it saying like, one, you're going to have to contact a lot of them. Two, some of them are going to have like out of control. Are those birds just chirping super loud outside, or what? I can hear them.
Yeah, Pat, let's just make this clear real quick. How many are we talking about here?
So what I would do is
a lot is not 5. A lot is 50.
Yeah, no. I would probably contact like 200. I mean, see my earlier example about Craigslist in the garage. Yeah, like 50 a day. And then, once you have some people coming back, some are going to just be like ridiculous and give you all kinds of thises and that's. And sometimes you're going to just get somebody that's like in a good mood that particular day and was like, you know what? Yeah, like I can take, I'm so sick of posting interiors. I love them, but it's just the same thing over and over and over again. So what we're going to do instead is you're going to give them an image. Maybe they Photoshop it into the wall and say, hey, I'm giving this piece away just to spice things up during these COVID times. Oh, by the way, it's by artist such and such at handle here. And then in your bio, you're going to say sale, certain percentage off, COVID-19 relief sale running right now with the down arrow. And you're going to have to do that 5 times. You're going to have to do that 5 to 7 times to, because some of let's just say I contacted 100. I had 15 that said they were amenable to do it. 5 of them ended up being Yahoos. 10 of them ended up being awesome. I'm going to cut that down to 5 to 7, and I'm going to run it with all 5 to 7. Well, some of those are going to be hits, and some of them are going to be duds, and that's just how it's going to go. Some are going to be hits, some are going to be duds. And you're looking for a hit, because if you do get a hit, it's the holy grail, because you can go back to it quarter after quarter after quarter, sometimes maybe even once a month after you develop a good relationship with these people. So that's the way that you approach it. And again, per my usual thing, the holy grail is if you can get them to do an Instagram live with you where you talk about the piece, that's a great way for you to water ski on their followers. So that's how you can do it. It's really pretty simple. I mean, I've got this like little soft phone on my computer that makes it pretty easy, but you can do this on your phone all day long. You can ride the hashtags, and then you just have the same text on your clipboard, and boom, you're firing it away. So that's the trick. Yeah,
and David, that language that Pat mentioned about like how to reach out to them, we have that written for you, and it's in that playbook as well. So I would check that out. So you when you reach out, I think the language, like, you just want to make sure that you're kind of speaking about it the right way. You know what I mean? So that it's about them and not necessarily just about you.
I do. And there's a part two to this, because I got my butt kicked by a whole marketing team when I mentioned this to them about doing these free giveaways on Instagram. And basically what they said to me is, when offering free art, will that attract the sort of clients who will buy art, or only those looking for freebies? Okay. And what they suggested to me is, don't do free giveaways. Would it not be better to offer a live art auction with proceeds going to a local not-for-profit?
Could do that too. Could do that too. I mean, they're
Right.
two different sides of the same coin, essentially, right? Like, someone has attention and you're looking to get access to it. And so a way to do that is with an incentive. And that's what the free piece of art is. And
Should
is
I
it
try both?
attract-
Is
Yeah,
what I'm
yeah, oh, absolutely. Try anything unconventional right now. And like, look, is running this, are you going to attract some yahoos that are just tire kickers and just want to win something? Absolutely. No question. But everything you do is going to attract those types, right? Like, all you're looking for is a couple of good leads, and hopefully get a collector out of there that's going to buy a piece, and then is going to buy 5 to 7 pieces over their lifetime, and then rinse and repeat. Keep going.
We're like 1,000, giveaways deep, of seeing like the sales come through from them and that they work. Now, the thing is like, on a giveaway, out of like 100 people that might sign up for it, there's a percentage that's going to be qualified, and there's a percentage that's going to not be, right? That just kind of like are there for the freebie. But that with marketing tactics, that's always going to be the case. It's no different than like, if you're doing an art show in person, or somebody's just subscribing to your emails, they may not never buy. It's like, people who follow Ferraris but can never afford to buy a Ferrari, right? But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't do it, right? Like, so they will, like, they do work and they will work. So on one side, the giveaway is going to get a lot of people. It's going to get a lot more attention because the friction is extremely low, right? And so so these other people, you're kind of using them to share it and like do these different things that will amplify the giveaway to get it in front of more people, right? And an auction probably won't do the same thing, because it's just like, hey, like, who's going to share that? Like, who's going to, there's nothing really there that tells me that it's like something is going to, is going to like kind of virally spread. But on the flip side, with one of those accounts, if some people are really qualified and they're ready to like buy something on the spot, then they might be the people that click on it and participate in the auction. So you'll have to try it and you'll have to see. It's going to be different, totally different results.
Should I combine the two when contacting these non-influencers?
Yeah, thank you.
Or should I just pick one or the other?
I would just pick one or the other, because like Pat said, if any of these influencers work, like, you guys are
Content curators.
Yeah. You guys are looking to build relationships with the ones that work, right? So you can do one of these like every 3 months or 6 months, so it doesn't matter. So whichever one, as you kind of spray these things out there, whichever one works, you'll do another one, hopefully in 3 months. You know what I mean? I would probably err towards, leaning towards what we're advocating. I don't agree with what those guys necessarily said. I mean, and it's not that I disagree with doing an auction. I just think like, when we have proven that something works so many times over and over and over, then rather than have you go out there and then promote this thing to 50 people that I can't tell you whether it works or not, and then you blow the relationships with these people because nothing good happened and they got nothing out of it, they're not going to be as receptive next time to do something about it, potentially, right? I don't know. But if it were me and I ran an auction and I was a content curator and nobody cared about that auction, I would probably never talk to you again. If you came back and you're like, hey, I got something else for you, I'm like, look, buddy, we're good.
Yeah, I would tell you there's no value. So you want to have an auction with my attention and I'm going to give that to you for free? Like, no,
you'd have to give them a percentage, like if that's to give them some sort of an incentive. By the way, Taylor, I was thinking about this too, for the language in reaching out to these guys. I think it's important to mention when you're asking them to do a giveaway, to talk about how you have found, in doing these on your own website, that they get shared very often, and it's a great way to increase your following, because that's something that's really great for them. because these guys want to grow their account following, right? So if they can see that this giveaway is going to help them increase their following and add value, I mean, the guy's giving away something to his audience. You're going to have a much higher probability of getting that person to want to do it.
Yep, 100%. And
it's really something that's in it for them, you know?
Okay, thanks, guys.
Thanks, David.
Good question, David. Really good questions.
I'm going to jump to Q for a second, Nick, because we got Bill Stidham, who Nick and I have not talked to in quite some time, ready to go on the phone from Mexico, presumably. So let's unmute and see how he's doing.
Oh,
Bill,
okay.
can you hear us?
Hey guys, what's up?
How's it going?
Bill, what's going on, my man?
Hey Nick, man, so good to see you guys'
You too.
faces.
You too, man. It's been too
Great
long.
here.
How
are things in Mexico too? Especially, I want to hear.
Well, everything's shut down. You know, it's a little bit different than the United States. I've been keeping obviously close eye on the United States, but I mean, here they've shut down bars and restaurants, and you know, there's still stores open. It hasn't hit that hard here yet, but people are being as aware as they possibly can. And you know, this is an economy that's a lot different than the United States. You know, alluding to what you guys were talking about earlier, how U.S. will probably bounce back faster than anybody, right? Once this is all over. Because there's a lot of people here, the majority of the country live day to day, you know?
Yeah.
And it's pretty hard to tell somebody they're not going to be able to eat. You know what I mean? There's not exactly a safety net here. So as far as
you have your own gallery down there, and it depends on vacationers coming there, right?
That's shot. It's closed. That's closed. So stuff like that is closed. The essential things like grocery stores are open, and hardware stores, and DHL was open, which allows me to ship my paintings, you know, to the United States. So that's good.
Awesome.
I got to tell you, I'm super thankful for what Art Storefronts does for me, and I can tell it's having a big impact on a lot of artists. So the fact that the two guys that are right here in front of center with everybody trying to help us in this situation, it speaks highly to Art Storefronts and to the two of you all.
Thanks,
so I just
buddy.
wanted to say thank you. You know, most of my sales come from, a lot of my sales come from doing events, you know, the music festivals, and those are pretty much shut down, at least until September. We'll have to wait and see. So I had like 2 or 3 days of an identity crisis and severe anxiety, almost bordering on depression. But then I said, let's figure this out and figure out a different way. And then a lot of the ideas that you guys are giving are super helpful. But I had a gentleman come to me who has a t-shirt printing company. And I've done t-shirts before, but they were always a pain in the ass. And especially, you know, one-offs, because you couldn't afford to do a one-off on a black t-shirt. So I made the decision, since my average profit margin on my smaller prints, my smallest print, the 14 by 20 is about $17, I might as well go ahead and open up my market to t-shirts. And I think a lot of people out there right now, and I want your opinions on this, a lot of people out there right now, $40 is in their range. You know what I mean? So I found a guy that can do, with the latest technology, print on one-offs on black t-shirts. And he designed the page that is going to link directly from my Art Storefront account, which worked seamlessly and beautifully. So what's your guys' idea? Does it cheapen my art by offering it on t-shirts, for the first question? And maybe you could answer that one.
my thing is, like, you know, I'm going to answer your question indirectly in a different way. You have so much opportunity, Bill, to do more marketing and to take advantage of the success that you already have, that if it were me, I would be doing that as hard as I could, as much as I could, before I did anything else, before I pivoted into the t-shirts. Because, you know, and I don't say don't do that. Like, I'm not saying like I don't mind that. I feel like, you know, there's just so much opportunity for you right now, given everything that I said earlier. Like, you know, everybody's beautifying their homes and trying to make them more inspiring, and they're everybody's got a new office, right? It's their home right now. All these,
Right.
And to make sure that your stuff is out there, and because you got all this.
That's a great message. I like that.
You got all the celebrities, you got everything, right? Like I honestly, I'm not kidding you. I didn't even know you were going to be on this today. And I was thinking about you this morning, and I was like, I wonder if I could ask Bill to make me like an Elon Musk, Steve Jobs. Like, I really want an inspirational piece with like guys that I really look up to as like, forward thinkers. And I started thinking like that because I was like, I would love to have one of these, or I'd love to have like 4 of them, one of each of these guys, almost like what do you call that? Like, not a triptych, but 4 of them.
Yeah. And that's a great idea, man. I haven't been thinking of that either, because people are looking for inspiration right now.
That's exactly right. You know what I mean? And so, but you already have inspiration. You have pieces that inspire the entire country, right? Because you have like every musician, you've got like all these, athletes and all these different people. And if you simply tap into that and you do the marketing that we're telling everybody to do right now, like these Facebook groups, these influential Facebook groups, and these Instagram content curators, as Pat is talking about, with these massive followings, and you do these tactics, we have a playbook completely for it. So either you or, I don't know if you still have an assistant or whoever's going to do it, just follow it literally step by step. Ask us, with our team in the group, our support team, we will help you through the whole thing to make sure that you're doing all of it, right? And I think if you do that, you are going to do extremely well. And I think that I would spend 90% of my time doing that and 10% on the shirts, because I don't want you I don't want you to be thinking the way through this time that, when a lot of your money is made on those shows in person, is to like go down market to the people who can afford a $40 t-shirt, right? And by the way, like one of the categories that is way down in sales right now is actually clothing. So that's good to know too. It's like the clothing market, I think, is down like 47%. So I don't love that. Even though I'm not against like having that up and, starting that and getting that going. I just think that if you tap into these other markets and you tap into this, make your home, like you're working from home now, right? Like I want to make your home office and your home, your game rooms and everything more inspiring, so that you can become more productive, happy, creative every day that you got to work from home. Like, I know I'm running a sale right now, right? To do it, all of it. And as it just got announced today in our small wins group, but I got all the printing companies, the BayPhoto and Graphik Dimensions, doesn't matter who you are on for the automated fulfillment, to do the discounts through all of April. And it's because we saw that this is working. Like discounting right now, running a sale and having language like that is working. And so I would just want you to contact all of these groups and do like 200 of them, because I know they're going to want to do this giveaway strategy with you. People are going to love it. They're going to get all sorts of action from it, and you're going to grow your list, and you're going to get sales from it for sure.
This is brilliant. I mean, I like working in the idea of like, when I'm marketing, these are campaigns, you know what I mean? And like that campaign needs to happen right away for me. Like what you're talking about, beautifying your Zoom space,
Yeah.
Because you were right about the vanity, man. I mean, people are vain. If they can't, if they can't dress up or their car that they have, oh my God, what happened?
We still hear you.
Yeah.
Okay. That this is going to be really important to them, unfortunately from a vanity standpoint.
Yep.
So
I would say 2 things. One, if you want to do the t-shirt thing, you're sort of in a different position than most people, because you've been at this for a long time. You sell really well every single solitary year, and you have a built up audience. Before I even started offering them, I would probably email the entire list, say, hey, in these trying times, I'm thinking about offering some shirts so you can wear an incredible piece of my Sacred Heart. So if that's something you'd be interested in, just respond to this email and see what kind of feedback you get. If you get
guys, I did that on Facebook and I got like 300 responses. So
yeah, I think then you should maybe give it a shot, because you're in a different capacity. But I would also say for you, like, there's a silver lining in this whole thing, which is you're an extremely rarefied air because you've never done any of the digital stuff. You did it
Right.
years, 200,000 miles on your van, how many shows you
Right.
did in the pavement to get your audience. Now you're going to be forced to actually learn how to digital market. And once we emerge out of it, you have your other revenue source going. You're going to be in a great spot. So, and keep coming to these workshops too.
I'm coming twice a week. Okay.
All right.
Keep
all
going.
right.
We'll
Do them
guide
on
you through
Thursdays
online.
too.
You will emerge out of this when the shows come back, Bill. If you really focus on your online. I mean, I know you do online posts and you've been doing that, and you do email marketing. We should give them more credit. You're doing email marketing all the time. You've always been after that. But the lead generation aspect, the lead generation online, right? Like you've really done your lead generation primarily offline, and then whatever lead generation you've done online has been a result of doing posts and having those shared. But actually doing the strategies that we have to like really amplify all of that, right? Will take things to the next level, and you'll emerge out of this with like an online strategy that's bringing leads and sales in as well as your offline.
Yep.
I'm very thankful for you guys, and you're doing a great job. So I'm not going to take any more of your time. I'm just going to listen to the next, the next artist is in line, the artist in line. But I want to thank you again and keep it up. Okay.
Awesome, Bill. Good to see you. We'll see you next time.
Stay safe down there. Okay. I'm going to unmute Ben. Ben, go ahead. You're up.
Oh, hi. How are you all?
Good.
Oh, hey, Ben.
Before I get to what I want to ask Nick, I just want to tell people I'm in New York, and I know about 10 people with the virus right now. My accountant actually is in the hospital. So, but I just want to tell you, I'm getting emails from clients on a Saturday night. I'm watching a Netflix movie, and they're saying, hey, Ben, this job you were going to do for us has been postponed till like October 15th. So business people are beginning to already think about doing business in the future. And I had a nonprofit ask me, would you consider donating a photograph for a silent auction? I said, no, I'll donate 2 photographs to a silent auction. It's a no-brainer. So Nick, I want to ask you a quick question. I changed my Instagram account today to a business account, and already I see so many more people going to my photographs that I don't even know who they are, but I still can't figure out, and I can't find the video it's like a 1.5-minute video where you sort of you engage your Facebook audience into an Instagram audience or your email audience.
That would have been Patrick's thing. Pat, is that the moving the attention around?
Yes. We've got a podcast on that.
Someone send out that link, or?
Yeah, we can put that in there.
We can. Let's get them in the show notes, Taylor. That would be the attention around. Is it a video that you made, or is it just a podcast?
It was a video.
It's a podcast, a video, and
probably was a podcast. There's no one in the video. And the other thing is, I want to tell you, I live around the corner from Madison Avenue. So there are a lot of art galleries and photography galleries. None of them are open. And most of the entrances that I've seen have said, we'll be back. In New York State, I think there's going to be a policy of landlords for giving at least 3 months rent. And what they're going to do is they're going to get a discount on their real estate taxes. So that could help a lot of people. Unfortunately, I think what's going to happen in the States our state taxes are going to go up. But I think business will be back. I really do. I'm pretty sure about it.
Oh, it's going to be back. I mean, I'll just, you guys heard me in my presentation, and I'll say it again. And this is like apolitical. This is apolitical. So don't feel like you have to inject any opinion into this. I have been, an entrepreneur for 20 years. I went through 2001. I went the 9/11. I went through 2008. Okay. And now here I am now, and I am not scared at all. Right. But I pay very, very close attention. I'm one of those people that pays very, very close attention to markets and to the government and what they're doing and how that impacts everything and all that stuff. And the big difference that I see this time around is the fact that because the government shut everything down on us, on everyone, right? I have never seen this in my 20 years in business. I've never seen the way that they are talking. I mean, it's like they're going to endlessly print money, and you can have your own opinion on that. But they are going to do whatever it takes to get out of this. And that may have a very bad impact 5 or 10 years from now, who knows, right? On like inflation and whatever. But no matter what it is, like they're not going to let this go down. So if there's a new reaction that happens in 30 days, I'm very confident that they're all going to get right back together and they're going to do another $1 trillion of such and such, right?
Yeah.
Like even today, I mean, I've been talking about this for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And then, and sure enough, even today, it's like, oh, we don't have enough money for the payroll protection program stimulus. And they're already talking about doubling it, right? And there's a new infrastructure bill. So this is just a weird situation where if we can get past this couple of months in the whole economy now, then you have 0% interest rates. You have trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars of stimulus. It's almost like Mickey Mouse land, right? And so there is everything behind it for it to come back. So it's really interesting.
Yeah, except don't forget that the states can't print money. Only the government can.
Yeah,
correct.
That's something to think about. Thank you. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay. Ishan, I'm going to unmute you. You're up.
Hey, Pat, how you doing?
Good. How you doing?
Oh, there's your piece.
This is the piece I was talking about. I was very inspired during this pandemic. There's a spiritual favor. It's called "This Too Shall Pass." In short, there's this father. He's about to pass away, and he gives all his possessions and all of his belongings to his 2 sons, and he divided all. And there's 2 rings that is divided. One is just a diamond. I'm on the sketching right now. It's a diamond ring, and one is a ring is just silver. And he said, you guys choose. You guys choose whatever you want. You divide it. The elder said, I'll take the diamond because I'm older. You take the ring, the silver. And in short of the story, the son started thinking, my dad was a very wealthy man. Why did he carry a silver ring? What was that all about? He started kind of inspecting it, and he looking at it. And he noticed that, oh my God, there's something inscripted. And that says, this too shall pass. So throughout the whole time, these 2 brothers living life to old age, the younger one is always at peace and balance because knows that everything is a constant change. And the elder is just being affected by this, by that, by ups and the down. And then there's a lot of wind and emotion and a lot of, rather the younger brother is just very straight line and just very stable and balanced. So this is what I've been doing, but today's my 9th day, and this strategies, this is something that's going to be a giveaway. I've been posting it. I've been doing a lot of Facebook Live. I get a lot of action there, people coming in. Let's see, what is this guy doing? So that's kind of what I've been doing. And today I saw somebody just went to my website and signed up. So I'm kind of in the beginning of the business, and this is kind of my passion. Just my whole intention is just inspire people toward peace and love, and so this is my way to expressing this in pandemic.
Awesome. Love it. You got a great story going there. So make sure to keep telling that one when as you go down the line with it.
Exactly.
But good work.
Any thoughts? Anything I need to do? One question that comes to my mind: is this okay to share this to my current mailing list and just talk about it, and you also can win this?
Absolutely. You got
100%.
You could have just recorded what you just said right there. Maybe you just edit the piece off of this video and take it, or you could do it again. But yeah, the narrative is always great, and it always has an opportunity to connect with certain people certain ways that you unexpectedly that you might not be anticipating. So I absolutely would. I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, and I think right now, like, here's what I want this to do for you, right? Like that's what I want. That's what I want people thinking. Like, you'll talk about the piece your own way, like Isan just did, but then add it. Here's what I want it to do for you. You told me about what it is for you, like what you're doing there. But what do you want it to do for me when it's on the wall in my house, given the situation that we are in right now, right? Like, how is that going to add value to me? Those are the 2 dots I really want you guys to connect right now, because that's when somebody's going to go, boom, I'm buying that right now. I have wanted to I like his work. I've been following him. I've been thinking about how to make this place a little bit more peaceful, or something like that, or more positive, whatever it is. And the people that connect with that message, they're going to go, I'm getting that right now, because he's also got a deal on it. He's offering a deal on it, right? So I'm going to buy it right now.
I love the art process and telling the story. Always a huge advocate for that. Yeah, always need to be.
That's the romance key. It's the easiest thing for you guys.
For sure it is. Good luck, Isan. Keep us up to date. John Davis, you are up next. I'm going to unmute you now. Go ahead, John.
Oh, hey guys. I really appreciate hearing such positive stuff about the art world, and particularly the print business in these times.
Isn't it awesome?
It's really pretty amazing and very much appreciated. my question really regards this previous conversation a little bit, where we're talking to fine art connoisseur, which we love their art, we do realistic artwork, and they've got a pretty impressive bunch of people with money who subscribe. They do not like the idea of there being prints on necessarily the same site as the original work. They have an idea in their mind, which might be my gallery view, that has all this beautiful fine art in its original. My wife and I, and my wife does a lot of the marketing efforts for me, we both think it's sort of nutty right now to cut out the print market. So this fellow was sort of okay, but he was saying, well, okay, if you guys have another site that's prints, maybe that would be workable. And whether or not that's a good idea, I've always been intrigued by the manager where it's like, edit your sites. And I'm like, I only have one site, but I can see opportunities in the future, which might be along the lines of selling artwork or art lessons to artists and that kind of thing, where actually separating the site would make sense. So I'm wondering how all that might work.
Oh yeah, you can, as an Art Storefronts member, once you are a member, then you can add essentially as many sites as you want for just $59 a month or whatever plan you want to pick. You don't pay the membership fee twice. So that's all you have to do. You just let the support team know you just want to add a site, and they'll add another site for you, and you're good to go. And you can build it all out and do whatever you want.
Yeah,
good information. I can see where
splitting it, right?
Once art can lead to other side sources of income streams, and this is
if you primarily have a high-end audience that is buying originals from you, and you don't want to mix that up. I mean, obviously, like if you're going to go to prints, you might want to go to limited editions first. Like you could do that on the same site, probably no problem. But if you really wanted to go into the open edition and you wanted to separate that, you could totally separate that and just have like a separate logo even. It's almost like, you know, John Davis held decor, you know what I mean? Or whatever you want to do, right? And then, yeah, and you can sell other stuff on that site, and then you don't really pollute it. And, you know, the other people won't even, you know, they won't even really come across that, because people who want to buy originals is just a different type of customer.
Cool. Well, that was my question. Thank you very much.
Awesome.
Yeah. And I mean, just big picture, like we love additional revenue sources. Like, you know, it's so hard to get attention in the first place that once you have it, you want to try and get as much revenue out of the attention that you can. And it's like these additional items offer a great way to do so. And, you know, you're a solo entrepreneur. Again, the attention is always going to be the hardest. So any additional revenue source that's within the bounds, I don't find it as off-putting as many people do. Like if you can come up with an additional one that dovetails, whether it's a service-based side of the business, whether it's an additional, you know, art store, which we really like, painting on top of prints and calling that a different product, like just makes a ton of sense. So, okay, Steve, you are up. I'm going to unmute you, Steve. Go ahead.
Hi. I've had a long career in the music business, in the live music business. And as Nick indicated at the beginning of this session, it's uncertain. So my whole career really was based in that. At the same time, for years, I've been painting, and I decided to open an Art Storefront store, which I'm in the process of doing. I'm almost going to get a technical audit, but I don't know anything about digital marketing. I need to get
nobody does
basic things. And what you said earlier about Nick said about the marketing launch workshop tomorrow, that sounds perfect for me. So that's where I'll start, but I don't know. I mean, and I don't know what's going to happen. For example, I got Eric Clapton coming up in the fall. I don't know, is it going to get in, are the September dates going to be canceled? So it's all up in the air. Luckily, I have this other thing that I'm really now dedicating myself to, which is sitting at home, building my art storefront shop and getting started. Also, one more thing, I was interested in what Bill had to say. I don't know, I want to go to his site and see what kind of work he does, but it sounds like it's maybe celebrity oriented or music oriented or something like that. I have a lot of contacts from 30 years of being in the music business that people who know me and I can see how I could convert that or use that to market. And maybe there are other people like Bill who'd be interested in the people I know, and I would be interested in the people he knows. And if it's, I'm just using that as an example because he.
Yeah, I don't know if he's still on here. I don't see his name right where I'm scrolling, but you could just go to his site and just contact him directly. If Taylor, can you put that in the chat window? Oh, he already did. He already did. It's right there.
Thanks, Taylor.
But Steve, welcome, first of all. And the marketing launch workshop is exactly the right place to go for you. That's perfect. And also know that nobody came here with experience in internet marketing. Nobody. So you are at home. Don't worry. Like, you're not like the one guy who came in here who didn't know how to do anything on, sending emails and things like that or social media. Most people did not, definitely not at the level that we are getting everybody to, right? Like, we're making you guys like way more advanced because I believe that we all believe, but we believe that, there's an arbitrage in the market, right? If you know what to do with marketing and things like that, especially in the art market. And that's where the Art Storefronts community is going to be, like, period. Like, that's like my total mission is you guys need to be building businesses that have value, long-term value. You need to, and in order to do that, you have to own your own customer list, your own leads, and you have to build a business the right way. It's an artist business, photographer's business is no different than any other business. A lot of other influential people in the industry, the galleries, the online websites, try to make people think that it's not that way. They don't overtly say that, but it's just the way that it's been. People just upload their work and then they give up X% and then they don't even know who the customer is and they never build anything. And they're essentially like this 1099 independent contractor for their whole life. And then they get to retirement and they're like, wait a minute, I don't have anything. And it's like, yet the gallery owner in Laguna Beach has a Bentley that he's driving. You know what I mean? And it's just like, no. At Art Store, we're going to build real businesses here. For the first time in this industry, everybody's going to build a real business that has value. They're going to own their own customers and they're just going to do it the normal traditional way that you build a business. So you're good to go. You're in the right place.
And yeah, definitely do that workshop tomorrow, and then definitely just don't get overwhelmed at the beginning. Like, it definitely feels early on, especially with digital marketing, like you're drinking from a fire hose, and it's all good. It's going to be frustrating. You're going to be stumbling. Just take it one step at a time and you keep getting better. All right.
That's that's such a great, you just said something that I think is like profound. You said, like if people might feel like they're too late. And what's so interesting is that you are not too late, because no photographers and artists are doing this. Nobody's doing this. Everybody has a phone in their pocket, but nobody is doing this. And nobody has been doing it for years. Trust me, I have been with a megaphone for the last 7 years in this industry. I've been in the art industry for 20 years, right? And I started this company because I knew that nobody was doing the thing that they needed to do. And so it's so new and early, even though you guys might not think so. It's not in the sense of digital marketing in general, right? Like, of course, social media has been out there and all that different stuff. But in the art industry, nobody's doing it. Nobody's doing the work. Nobody's doing these things. And so it's all an opportunity for you guys.
Okay, Kimberly, you are up next. You're unmuted. Go.
Hello, I have a question about the relevance score in Facebook ads. I've been trying to cultivate an audience for my niche in the US. And so I've been running tests, the audience that works for the UK gets a relevant score of 7, but the same thing for the US gets like 2. My conversion vector, the numbers look good there. They're, about 5% or higher for email signups, but I was just wondering if there's a certain thing I need to consider when I'm trying to cultivate like an additional geographic location. And the reason I want to do that is I'm a tiny bit worried that the UK doesn't want to pay custom fees right now. So I was thinking about trying to cultivate my niche in the US.
Okay.
Yeah. Go ahead, Pat.
I love that you're digging in there and you're learning about things. The relevance score is sort of not an upfront metric that you need to pay a ton of attention to. There's some other more complicated reasons, but as you're just getting started, I would be way more concerned with attempt to put a line in a couple of these different ponds of which you have an idea. And let's just say it's the United States, it's the UK, and it's Canada, right? And if you run all three of them at the same time, your conversion doctor will instantaneously tell you which one is converting at the highest level. And then I would probably spend the majority of my focus on that one. But you know, with this whole UK shipping thing, I don't know, Nick, that's probably more your wheelhouse.
Yeah, I don't think, Kimberly, I don't think there's a huge concern with the customs fees as much as you think, because I really think that it's all about, I mean, just the fact, like those numbers that I showed are just like, they're just like mind blowing. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I really think that, you know, there's just a ton of wealthy people. Just think executive level, just think like $100,000 a year salary and up. Every single person is at home, right? Like it's incredible. And everyone, I think, you know, has or will be, is thinking kind of the same way that I am, where I'm like, oh my goodness, like this is not okay where I am working and living and all this stuff. Because I never noticed it. I was living in my house fine, right? But I just started noticing it a couple of weeks ago and it's kind of building. And so I think there's so many people out there that are like that, and that's what's fueling this. That's why the home decor with Wayfair and all that stuff has just exploded. They doubled their sales. And so I just don't think it's as big of a deal as you think. You know, like if they really, like with your art is really, really good and it's very specific. You know, if somebody wants your stuff, I don't think it's gonna, you know, like that's gonna stop because of a small customs fee. I don't necessarily think so. Also, when it comes to the ads and the relevance score, is it the same ad text?
Yes.
Interesting.
That's really, the same.
All that really means is like the relevance score. Are you like, break it down by the engagement in there in Facebook, where you can see like, I'm sorry, I don't know if it's called the engagement report or whatever, but it shows like 3 metrics and like whether they're average, below average, or above average. Have you seen that? Like for the ad?
I haven't seen that yet. I was just relying on my conversion doctor, and then I started clicking around of how I could sort that in Facebook, and I thought, wow, I mean, I thought I was doing really good according to the conversion doctor, and then I saw Facebook.
Well, those numbers, that relevance score, I believe, I know that these other metrics I'm talking about will change on a daily basis, but ultimately what it means is that your ad is just resonating with that audience more, and Facebook likes it more, because you want to, and when Facebook likes it more, it's going to be, they're going to give you more reach and like cheaper ad costs because it's good for their platform, right? So it's just a signal that like this ad is going to be cheaper to run in the UK right now. And it's like, we don't know why, but when you put an ad up on Facebook, I mean, just that robot is watching everybody, and like when they scroll and if they stop on something, you know, and if they click on something, and if they obviously put in a comment or they share it, like it is watching that stuff like a hawk. And so if it sees that a certain audience is really reacting for whatever reason, I mean, maybe right now, you know, it might make sense that the British are like, you know, way more sensitive to what's going on in Italy, because your content is, you know, or you have don't you have French content as well, or is it just Italy?
I have one small section of French content, but it's 95% Italy.
Okay, yeah. So maybe right now at this moment, it's just working, because look, ads will have a high relevance score, but then a couple months later they might not. Like that's just, you know what I mean? Like okay. you want to view Facebook almost like a news site in some ways, where it's like, hey, if it's current news right now, if it's sensitive to what's out, like what people are thinking and feeling, then it's probably going to do better right now, you know?
Okay.
I mean, on that note, maybe New York content right now is like, you know, would have a high relevance score because it happens to be the place that is getting a lot of attention, right? So I'm not telling you to go paint New York scenes. I'm just saying in general, right?
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh, no worries. Go ahead.
So as long as people seem engaged and they're messaging me and stuff, then everything's all right.
As long as your conversion doctor is all right, you're all right.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I keep my eye on.
Yeah,
And I was just trying to learn about more stuff.
Yeah, if your relevance score is low, it just means you might be paying a little bit more per email. You know what I mean? But it doesn't mean that your targeting is off. So that's good.
Well, thank you.
It's too complicated.
I learned a lot. Thank you.
You got it.
Okay. Kimberly. Okay, Casey, you're up next. I'm going to go ahead and unmute you. Go ahead, Casey.
Okay. Hey, so my question was around, I just recently got an email from Facebook Business about, I think it's more of it's a gift card campaign. It's aimed mostly at, I think, local businesses, creating gift cards through Facebook. I was wondering if you guys knew anything about that and if you have any thoughts, ideas on it, was my question.
That's interesting. It makes a ton of sense, right? That's likely starting for restaurants or like, hey, you can support.
Yeah.
So they, you know, if they don't have a gift card, it's definitely worth a shot. I mean, usually what happens is when Facebook gets behind something early on, they give it a ton of extra love to get traction. And so it's nice to, you know, just go ahead and grab the rope and water ski behind that a little bit. So I would give it a shot.
Okay. And I'll put the link in the chat, in case you want to, you know,
yeah, do that.
Anybody else wants to take a look at it and, you know, see what you think. But yeah, I was just curious if it was something you knew about but yeah, I'll give it a shot and let you know.
Yeah, we'll take a look. But again, I think especially early on, like it's always worth a shot.
Okay.
Emily and Giovanna, do you guys want to talk about the workshop tomorrow for just a minute? I'm looking for Pat. You could see it's Giovanna or Emily. There's a lot of people on here, so I'm trying to scroll through.
I see Giovanna.
Unmute Giovanna and Emily if you see her.
Hi guys.
Hey Joe, how are you?
Doing well.
Awesome. So tell everyone about this new workshop tomorrow.
Yeah, so basically we're gonna do something similar to what Nick and Patrick are doing here. We noticed that through these workshops, which have been great so far, we've noticed that there might be a need for some more like hands-on work. So essentially, Taylor and Emily and myself, maybe even a couple of other agents here from the team are going to be assisting you tomorrow with just how to get started with marketing. Essentially, we're going to show you how to set up that first print giveaway. Everything around that. If you have already done it or are halfway through it but have some questions around it, you're more than welcome to join and just ask. And then we're going to talk about a few other important resources like a member handbook and any questions that you might have on that. And just like anything that comes up, we'll just start there and see where it takes us.
Great.
Awesome, Giovanna. Thank you.
No, thank
so
you.
we'll put it in the chat, and everybody's been asking on the chat. I don't know if you guys can see this. I would have to share my screen, but the chat has like where you type in, and then in the bottom right-hand corner, 3 little dots. You can click on the 3 little dots and save the chat. Alternatively, you can just come in here and go Control A, Control C, or Apple A, Apple C, and that would just copy everything that's in it, and then you can just paste it into a document. You know, it saves as like a text file, which is a little bit ugly. So we're trying to figure out a way to beautify it up a little bit. So we're working on that.
By the way, you guys, isn't our support team amazing? They're just amazing. If you haven't experienced their amazingness, I know you will. Look at everybody in the chat. Yes, yes. Thank you guys.
Thanks, everyone.
It looks like we're good on questions. Nick, what else do you have that you want to?
I've got one last thing, and Bill Stidham, make sure you're watching this right here. Pat, I don't know if I'll just talk so that everybody can see me. Couple of new products that are coming down the pipeline. Look at these coasters right here. Okay, So these are coming. We're pushing these through with Graphik Dimensions right now. And we're going to try to get them through. Bay is, they're still shipping. They're still doing their thing. But because they were like the first area with the shelter in place, we were just about to move them to Fulfillment 2.0. And it's kind of been dragging a little bit, but they're working with us and we're trying to get that done. So they'll be close behind. And I can't, Giovanna, do they have coasters as one of their products? I think they do. I can't remember. We'll push it through with them too if they have it. But these are really cool. These are, I'm trying to get you guys like kind of the gist of it. So anyways, they're coming in like packs of 5, I believe, 4 or 5. And we hope to have those ready to go within like 30 days. Let's say.
What's the price point on these things that we do?
I think they are $3 each, if I'm not mistaken, with Graphik. I'll have to check on that.
What do you sell? A pack for 20 or 40 or something?
What's that? For a pack of 5, but they're like $3 each, like per coaster.
But what would we suggested retail?
I mean, I've seen them. I'll tell you what, these things sell like hotcakes in Austin for like Austin imagery. And I see them selling them for like $10 each. So anything under $10. I mean, I thought $10 is kind of pricey, but they sell like crazy. So they're really cool though. I'll just tell you, like personally, when I opened up the package on these, like I was very impressed. Here's the thickness if you guys want to get the gist of it. You know, but the quality on the front, it's very high gloss. It looks really cool. Great. I mean, it's gonna look good on everything. So I'm pretty happy with it. And then another thing that's coming through on the Graphik Dimension side is this wall peel material. It's a repositionable like adhesive vinyl.
Gretchen's really happy about this one, by the way. She just erupted
cool.
like her.
So you'll see here. I'll do it this way. If I can get it off with my finger, it peels off. Oops. Yeah, there we go. It peels off like this, right? And this adhesive, it's a non-permanent adhesive, okay? So that you can put it on the wall and then you can move it around and things like that, and it'll last, you know, you can do that quite a few times, to be honest with you, but it's great for like, it's great for like wall murals. It's great for like kids' bedrooms. It's really cool. Stickers, things like that. But yeah, really cool material.
What size can they do that on? It goes pretty big, right?
Yeah, so those are just like, you know, they're sold like canvas rolls to the printing companies. So I think you should be able to go the exact same sizes that you could do on canvas or any paper, as far as I know.
Yeah, the coasters, someone else put in the comments, coasters are great giveaway items like all day. Oh,
totally. Great items. Like, you know, home decor. This is why I'm like, we need this item now. We need this item now because home decor, people are in their homes, right? Like, be nice to have a couple coasters with some good art, some inspiring stuff that you like. So that's a great one.
Instagram lives, you could run contests with them. They're upsells. Like there's good runway with those. Nice.
Yeah, Mark Grasso asked about greeting cards. We are working on greeting cards. They will be ready before the 4th quarter. No question. I will personally make sure that happens, but we're going to try to get that done in the next, let's call it 60 to 90 days. So, and those will be available with Bay and Graphik, the greeting cards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So those are coming. We hear you loud and clear. Yeah. So those are the announcements. And then just to reiterate, to make sure everybody heard, we have the print discounts going through April, through the end of April. Okay. So they were going to expire this Thursday, but they are going through the end of April. So make sure that you do something and you take advantage of this. I mean, Pat, let's talk about this for a second, right? You and I we've discussed this a little bit. We basically believe that you should kind of be discounting, probably running one and then extending it through the end of the month. I mean, the timing on that is working right now. And if you do that and you have the right language that I was referring to earlier about trying to connect to why your art is going to help add value to someone right now in this situation right now in their home to make it more peaceful, productive, inspiring, you know, and all that stuff. I think that's the right strategy right now.
Yeah, I mean, more and more people are going to pop up and all of a sudden be looking for art that they weren't looking before. So to the extent that you have a deal in the water, when that happens, you're going to end up winning. Just worry about the language, and you know, we're there to back you up with, in terms of the discounts. So
yeah, and Mother's Day is May 10th. Okay, so we're a little over, like we're pretty much like what, 5 weeks away from that. Okay, and then that's going to be followed by Father's Day. So, you know, make sure that we have some of that, you know, Taylor, let's make sure some of that language is in there that we're recommending right now too, because it's a good idea to talk about that. Like, you know, think about this, right? Gifts right now, gifts for friends, gifts for mom, you know, family members. Like a good gift, right? A great gift right now is art, because it's something that can actually like add value to them right now. Like you don't want to buy them something like, you know, something that requires going outside or concert tickets or things like that. Like art is actually a really good buy. And also if you're doing the, if you have the upload to print feature launch, think about that too, right? A great piece to add for mom for Mother's Day is a family photo on the wall, right? Printed on canvas or metal or whatever.
Yeah, huge.
Or kids or babies, things like that, right?
And we'll work up some language, but I actually think the Zoom slash, you know, web chat background sale is, I mean, that one,
I love that.
That one's a no-brainer. I mean,
that one is like, that's like a bullseye, like dedicated to one email. That's like, we know you're doing this, right? Like everybody's doing it. And it's like, yeah, you're right. Like I have thought about it plenty. Like I need to get something on this wall. Just so you guys know, an artist painted this wall. So this is not just like a blank wall. An artist actually painted this texture that you see on the wall by hand. So I'm not a complete sellout.
What else have we had? We have the sales. Yeah, and I'm still waiting for the editor to give me the Instagram live podcast. So we'll get that posted this week. And oh, I think Len had a question I saw that he put in chat. So Len, if you're still there, I'm going to unmute you right now.
I'm here. Hey, quick guys, less than 3 minutes. I have a friend who's a marketing guy, and he was telling me more than Facebook and more than Instagram, he said LinkedIn is the place where you find all the businesses, the interior designers, the offices, the healthcare industry. So I'm going to try to cultivate that and work on that, especially these guys who are saying that are home now, that are making more than 100K. I think a lot of them will also be on LinkedIn too. Is there anything you guys have planned on marketing, on strategy, and how we can get into these businesses and corporations and these people that are on LinkedIn?
I mean, it's the same principles. The same marketing that we're advising is like, you know, omni-platform, right? It could be TikTok. It doesn't really matter. But the only problem I have with that, because we talk about this all the time, like, you know, which platforms we should focus on for, you know, because anything that we're focusing on, like we're telling you guys to focus on, like we're eating our own dog food, right? Because we're doing our own research anyway. But the problem that I see, Len, is that what matters is where people's attention is. You hear Pat always using the word attention, right? It's a common term in marketing. And the people, like what I don't find is I don't find people sitting on their couches all day long checking out LinkedIn, right? I personally am never on it. I don't know anybody who's on it. And the reason why Facebook and Instagram work is because it's like, those are like televisions, right? And like they're watching those televisions and they're on them all the time. Now that doesn't mean that they won't check into LinkedIn all the time, but the value of Facebook and Instagram, why they work, is because people are on them for so many hours of the day that they're seeing the commercial over and over and over and over and over again, right? And so in finding people, like LinkedIn is really good to like find people like that, like, you know, because you can search by, you know, their job title and things like that. But from an ongoing marketing standpoint, I don't see the attention there. And so, you know, we choose to not market on there. Like we did a poll in the group. We did a poll in the Small Wins group like a year ago, and it was like, where are you guys spending your most time, right? We wanted to know where all of our customers were, because it would kind of give us some insight maybe. And it was like overwhelming Facebook and Instagram, with like a little bit of YouTube after that. And there was like no LinkedIn, and like very little LinkedIn and very little Twitter. Okay. Which makes a lot of sense. That's what you would think. Like that's where artists and photographers would be, you know? So I don't know if I always talk about the ROI on your time, the return on investment on your time. I don't know that it's there. I'm not telling you not to do it, but that's my opinion. Pat, what do you think?
I think it's like anything else. Like, it's going to take you a while to figure it out. It's going to take you a while to get good at it. Does it have access to attention? It absolutely does. But thinking that you're going to take like a sniper shot and get in there and be successful, and it's not going to be the case, right? Like,
Okay.
build a page.
Fair enough. Thanks, guys.
All the time.
But Len, because you're thinking about it, like, and Pat, I didn't mean to cut you off. I couldn't hear your last words there.
Yeah.
Did you have anything else? Sorry.
No, it's all good. Good.
Oh, okay. Because you're thinking about it, Len, take the posts that you're doing on Instagram and Facebook and just do them there too.
Yeah.
And just start building that without spending too much time on it. Just see what kind of action you get and where that goes.
Yeah, I will. I asked you primarily because there's someone I know on ASF who's a photographer, and he had told me that he had gotten a lot of his installation work and things through LinkedIn, but he had to work it, had to really work it. So it's a time-consuming thing again. So,
I think if you work it and you go after it a little bit, like, you'll find some stuff there. I mean, you can find it. You'll find it on any platform, but professionals are on LinkedIn, right? So, yeah.
Okay.
I would say like dabble in it, like give it a little of your time,
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Hold on, Len. All right, Mark, you're up. Unmute.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hey, Mark.
Great. Hey, this is my, I don't know, third or fourth meeting. And you guys are absolutely great. I mean, inspirational is the key word here as far as marketing is concerned. And Nick, this is my live Zoom meeting marketing thing.
Love it.
Love it.
I
should have everybody like submit their artwork that they think should be behind my wall. and then I'll pick one and buy it.
Yeah.
I've been having a lot of other Zoom meetings with people and, just mostly friends, but a few clients. And, they've been effective. I'm not real good at it, but I think as I work through it, I'll get better at it. But I did want to ask you guys one question, besides talking about my own work that's over my shoulder here, is that I have had a couple people ask me about joining Art Storefronts. And I know that you guys had or still have a program that benefits us for sending people your way. Could you send me a link in the chat or something about where I can find that information? Can you have Emily do that?
Absolutely. Taylor is going to drop it for you. Taylor happens to be in charge of the referral program. Taylor, I'm unmuting.
Oh, okay. All right, Taylor.
Sorry, buddy. I'm just putting you right on the spot.
No problem. Yeah, so we absolutely have a referral program. The 2020 setup is that for each referral you earn this year, you can pick between $150, and we'll send that to you via PayPal, or we'll extend your membership by 3 months. So as you rack a few of these up, you can quickly end up with a year or more of Art Storefronts for free, or the cash. If you need the cash right away, we got that too. So what you need to do is, first of all, the easiest way and the kind of the default is make sure anyone that you're sending our way mentions your name when they sign up. And our sales team will ask about that as they're going through the demo. Where did you hear about us? If you talk to any of our members. So there's kind of an easy in, and all they need to do is say, oh yeah, I was talking to Mark and he kind of sold me on hearing you guys out or whatever it is. At that point, the sales team will jot down, Mark played a role in this referral, and then I'll reach out to you and say, hey, Mark, whoever it was signed up, thanks so much. Which reward do you want? The other way you can do it, and this is in the page that I'll link, is you can use your unique referral URL. So if you have a really good back and forth going with someone, you can actually send them a link where if they request a demo using that link, they don't even need to remember to mention your name. It's being tracked under your ID. So those are the two ways. You have your URL, or you just have the general, have them mention your name. Either way, we'll pick it up from there and reach out to you if it goes through and get you that reward as a thank you.
Yeah, and thank you, Taylor. That was awesome. The other thing is that with that tracking link, because I know how the software works with it, if you share that link like on your Facebook page or Instagram or anywhere, when anyone clicks on it, if they go to the website, it's going to like mark them that we knew they came from you. Okay. And so if they end up coming back later on and they request a demo later and they sign up later, we still know that it came from you. So, so that link is great to pass out if you have to if you're going to drop it like in a forum or share it with a bunch of people, like if you happen to be in a group or you want to put it on your Facebook page or something like that. So that's the best way to do it. But it's always good, like Taylor said, to like, if you're talking to somebody, to tell them to mention your name or put that in the email. We like to have that just to make sure that you get the credit.
Well, that's great.
Thanks, Mark. That's a good question.
Appreciate the information. Just make sure I get that link, and
yep,
I'll go from there.
Awesome. Already. Nick, I've got a quick one from Debbie Schiffer. She's asking, is the uploaded print coming soon for BayPhoto? Do we have an update on that?
Yes. I was talking to Larry this morning. Larry's the owner of BayPhoto. If you guys don't know, Larry Abitbol, I think is the way his name's pronounced. I've known Larry for a long time. Yeah, they're pushing it through as quickly as they can. Everybody's working from home, you know. I think they're shipping out of, they have 2 facilities. They're shipping out of their non-California facility, I believe, or they're somehow figuring that out. Yeah, they've got accountants working from home, trying to finish some stuff up, and some technical people getting some stuff done. But we are trying to push that through as quickly as we can. So I want to say that it's a week, maybe 2 weeks away. Let's say that, you know, by the end of April, they will be on Fulfillment 2.0, where you'll be able to use the upload to print feature and some other things that we'll be releasing.
Okay. That's all I've got. You good there too?
Yeah, so is vinyl adhesive going to be a new choice under media? That would be terrific. Yes, it will. Once we launch it, that's exactly, you'll just see it as a media type. It'll be deactivated in there, but we'll announce when each of these products, like the coasters, comes out, we will announce them to you guys so you won't miss it and you'll have the chance to activate it right away.
Okay.
That's pretty much it, right?
Yeah, I think so. Again, if you guys want to share, you can see in the notes. If you want to share or grab the chat so you have it, Taylor, make sure you save a copy of it too. And then we'll probably just have to start putting it on the show notes just so they have it. But you can click the 3 little dots, save chat, or again, you can do the Control-A, Control-C, and paste it into a document so you have it on your end. Either.
So Pam, we got a question from Pam Phillips. She says, speaking of marketing to interior designers, does ASF have plans to create a way for us to show more than one piece of art on the wall preview? Designers who are working on large projects would love this. There are various ways or various tools that you can use with interior designers. Number one is, the catalog feature. I want to make sure you guys all know about that. So if you're in the jump to menu, well, I should do this on the right side of your screen. There is a catalogs in that drop-down menu, and that will allow you to print out your work in like a catalog format. You can do it like 8.5 by 11, and I think 11 by 14 size. And the images are nicely laid out. And so you'll have the image, you'll have the name, you'll have like the URL of the product, and then you'll have these QR codes on there, right? You can have the QR code that somebody can take with their phone and immediately take them right to the product page. And then the other one will launch the wall preview or the live preview with augmented reality. So these are great to print out and give to interior designers if there's any interest, so that they've got something that they can just flip through right on their desk. You also can use the product gallery page feature to create some private pages that, like, let's say you want to curate like a gallery that you think is perfect for them. Like maybe you talk to one and they're like, we only care about beaches and horses. And you're like, okay, I have beaches and horses, but I've got a lot of other content. Boom, go in, create a product gallery page for beaches and horses only, turn it offline so it's not in your navigation menu, send them the link. The only person who can see it is the person who you gave a link to, right? So you can give them that. So they have a quick way just to see all of your content that is beaches and horses. And as you add stuff, it'll just populate in the beaches and horses, so long as that's in your, you know, product keywords or it's in the title of your product, right? So they'll just automatically populate. The other thing that you can do too is the favorite lists, which is on the front end. It's not, that's like, I think that's less of a clean way of doing it. I like the product gallery better, but interior designers can come to your website, use the favorite lists, and just favorite everything that they like. And then they get to keep something that they like. And you can access it in your contact manager, right? So if you go to them in the contact manager, they can be like, oh yeah, I favorited a bunch of stuff. You're like, no problem. What was the email address that you used? Or you may already have it. You can go look them up in the contact manager and see exactly what products they're interested in. So that's like 3 different tools just off the top of my head that are useful for any sort of interior designer or any type of job or project. Same thing applies if a restaurant contacts you, or a doctor's office, or a hotel, or anything. You want to, you know, you'd want to use any of those. Okay. I think we're good.
Yep, that's what I've got on my end.
Excellent. All right, let's leave it there, guys. Thanks for another great session. We will see you on Thursday, same time.
Same time.
We're going to keep hacking away at this marketing. So we'll see you then.
All right. Bye, guys.